6:44 right now. In 2005, Arkansas ranked the worst in the nation for timely trauma center accessibility.
In fact, before it was established in 2009, Arkansas was one of only 3 states without a fully functioning trauma system. But if you fast forward to 2018, that has changed dramatically.
Thanks to the incredible system, patients are surviving injuries they may not have before and getting care faster than ever before. Laura Monteverdi brings us a closer look.
The trauma system our state has in place is truly amazing. It's made up of hospitals, doctors, nurses, and first responders working together to save lives. This morning, we continue our Treating Trauma series, taking you back inside the state's only adult Level 1 trauma center to give you a closer look at how our state's trauma system is working to save lives like never before. It's a Tuesday evening in January inside the trauma unit of UAMS Medical Center. Just after 5 p.m., the call comes in. A Little Rock police officer injured in a multi-car pileup while on his motorcycle. A possible head injury sends him straight to the state's only Level 1 trauma center. It's these types of scenarios the trauma team at UAMS is prepared for. The only adult trauma center in the state able to provide the highest level of trauma care.
It's such a blessing. I mean, we wake up every day and our legacy is saving lives, and not many people can say that.
According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, getting to a Level 1 trauma center can lower the risk of death by 25% for patients with severe injuries.
I think most people think that they're close, within 5 or 6 minutes, to a Level 1 trauma center. And I think they'd be surprised to know that they're really not.
With specialized surgeons on duty at all times, they can treat the most serious and urgent cases.
For us, that means we keep somebody here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The other hospitals that are Level 2s, their surgeons don't have to stay in-house. They have typically a 30-minute response time.
Dr. Ron Robertson, Medical Director of Trauma at UAMS, says having a Level 1 designation in the state can mean the difference between life and death in the event of a tragedy like a mass shooting.
I have an operating room that sits open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, just waiting for those patients to come in. And, you know, this is the one place that we can get a patient to the operating room within 10 minutes or so if they do need our services.
Or tragedies like a plane crash. Terry Collins was on duty in June of 1999 when American Airlines Flight 1420 crashed at the Clinton National Airport.
What went through my mind on that night was, how can we handle this many patients, over 100 patients? Should we get them all? We're the closest hospital to the airport. And how can we be the most effective and efficient and make a difference in these folks' lives?
Which is exactly what UAMS is doing every day. The hospital took a lead role in 2011 when the statewide trauma system began operation.
Before the system, it took a long time for patients to get accepted at trauma centers, sometimes several hours before they could find an accepting hospital. What often happened is they'd land in a hospital, they'd identify an injury they couldn't take care of, they'd end up transferring it to another hospital, they'd find something they couldn't manage, and and so patients often went to 2 or 3 hospitals before they ever got to definitive care. And the problem with that is that impacts mortality.
In the past, there could be a 6 to 8 hour delay in getting a trauma patient to the appropriate hospital. But thanks to the trauma system, made up of nearly 70 hospitals in Arkansas and the surrounding states, that time is down to just 7 minutes.
Patients are living that never would have lived before we had these resources and this capability.
And it's these resources and a team of dedicated doctors that allow patients like Officer David Phillips to make a full recovery.
We know that we can save lives, and we know that if the patients make it to us, most likely they're going to make it home.
An incredible system that I had no idea before doing this story that we even had in place here in Arkansas.
But I'm so glad that they do. I mean, we live in this unfortunate time where these mass shootings are happening around us, and these just major events. It feels good to know that right here we have something that can help with this trauma system.
Yeah, and I think the thing I found most amazing in doing this story, obviously the work of the men and women behind the scenes, but the fact that it used to take 6 to 8 hours to get a patient. Could you imagine being in a car accident, being severely injured, and you're hopping to different hospitals. But now with this system of over almost 70 hospitals, they can see exactly what doctors are available, what type of injuries they need to be treated, and where they can be treated. So that time of getting to the right hospital, that's down to just 7 minutes of figuring out where they need to go.
That is crucial time too. That could be life or death.
And something Dr. Robertson told me too is that there's a trauma image repository. So if you're at one hospital, you can get all your CAT scans, your x-rays done, and they can send it basically in a cloud to the hospital, so that way the doctor can know your injuries before you even arrive. So while they're on their way, they know how they're going to treat you and what measures they're going to take. And that I just found is incredible as well.
It is. Technology has taken us so far.
It has.
Sometimes you feel like it's taken us a step backwards, but this shows us that it really is making a huge difference.
It does.
What's coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I'm really excited to share this story with you. I spoke with a trauma surgeon who helped create this system that we just talked about. And he didn't even realize that years later his life was saved by the trauma system he helped create. So we're going to share that story with you tomorrow. Looking forward to continuing this conversation in our Treating Trauma series.